What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Normally I would say welcome back to the free trading game collection, but of course we've kind of stopped doing that now because, well, of a few reasons. First of which is I'm going to be trading into CEX a little bit less, I think, because I want to use cash to buy things from video game stores. So my experience with certain video game stores is you take things into trade and they don't really give you the best prices. There are a few that will price match CEX, and of course CEX do give pretty good trade prices, but their sale prices can be quite high, whereas little retro game shops have good prices but their trade prices aren't great. So what I've decided to do instead, for the most part anyway, this won't be true across the board, is to pick games up, sell them online, and then use that cash to buy the video games that I want. It's kind of the system that the majority of people out there will use, especially when recording a series for YouTube and in general just in life, to build a collection, and it's something that I'm going to do now as well. Not really going to keep track of how much I buy and sell and how much profit we have and things, but in an episode like today, I can show you the pickups I get, how much money we make, and then I can go and use that money to buy something in a video game store. And that's what I've done today. So let's go to Facebook Marketplace, where I found a stack of PS4 games. Now, I was by the PC, I was having a coffee and have a little look around. I was scrolling through 3 of my hourly tweets that I'm allowed, thanks to the new allowance that Elon Musk has given me. And after my 3rd tweet, I thought, oh, better slow down a little bit, I'll have nothing to do later on today. I went over to Facebook and I saw a deal. It had been there for 12 hours, £25 for a large number of PlayStation 4 games. I was weighing it up, one of which caught my eye straight away. It was a sports game. Pretty sure it's on the Sports Almanac. If you don't know what that is, link down below. We'll talk about that again in just a second. And I knew that that game was worth almost as much as the entire bundle was worth. So I went through every single game and I worked it all out. And then I shot an offer of 20. She came back and said, yep, that's fine. How quick can you get here? So I ran. I didn't run, I actually walked. In the rain. Of course it was raining. It always rains when I decide to leave the house. So the games in question, a few of them are sports games. In fact, quite a few of them are sports games in one way or another. But that doesn't mean that they're not worth any money. Like I said, one of which in particular, the most valuable game in this bundle is a sports game. Hi, are you alright?
All right. Can I have a look? Or
No, I trust you.
No, right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Here is the stack of games I picked up, £20 paid. I will flip them around in a second. We'll have a little look through. Some of them I'm going to keep, others I'm going to look to move on. What I would have done previously, of course, in the trading collection series, was to take a large number of these straight away from their door to CEX. Trade them in. I would have got about £40 worth of credit from a £20 spend, which is obviously pretty good, and then I would have spent the £40 in CEX. However, I'm not really wanting to do that anymore. There's nothing in my local CEX anyway that I wanted immediately, and I would have been forcing myself to spend it. I could have kept it, of course, or gone to a different CEX. There were 2 games in my local CEX that I wanted recently, and unfortunately they sold over the weekend before I could get the credit. So the game that was worth the most money was this right here. This is eFootball, or PES 2021. This is the season update. Now, this is essentially the last PES game to ever exist, because they dropped PES. They are now just known as eFootball. I don't even know if they have physical releases anymore. I'm pretty sure it's just digital. So there are many reasons why this is worth as much as it is. So I didn't check these on the door. Now, don't do as I do as I say. So she opened the door and obviously knew who I was. I went to give her the money. She said, "Do you want to check them?" You should. Every single time you should check them. I didn't, because I'm loose and reckless, right? So I walked away. My thought process there is, I know where she lives. I've literally just been to her house to pick these games up. I know where she lives. I don't need to check them. If there's anything wrong, I can just go back. But you don't really want that aggro. So in my opinion, you should always just check them on the door. Have a very rough idea of what's in that bag. Know the maybe 2 or 3 games, if it's a bundle, for example. Know the 2 or 3 most valuable games, and you look for those. You look at the discs, and if they're there, then you'll be happy, because at least you know your money's safe. I checked it around the corner. Would have gone back if there was an issue, but that is in there. The disc is in good condition. Now, this trades into CEX for £13. They try and sell it for 20, 25. I know I can get 20 quid for this on eBay. fairly comfortable. The cheapest one right now is £20 plus postage, so I will pop that up on there for £20. If I can get the sale on Vinted, more's the better, because I don't pay any fees. Like I said, back when I was doing the trading collection, I would have just taken this to CEX and got the credit, but I think if I can get £20 in cash for this, that basically pays for the entire thing, minus a couple of pounds for fees. That one game pays for my entire bundle. All of these games I'm about to show you are now essentially free. The other game I wanted to look for was this, Theme Park Simulator. Now, unfortunately, the condition of the artwork on this, not great. There are a lot of fingerprints on the disc, but in terms of condition, it is perfectly sellable. No scratches, just need to wipe all the fingerprints off, but it's not going to go for like top premium money because of the artwork is like creased and things. However, this is a game I'm going to try before I get rid of it, but I do think I'm going to sell it. In CEX right now, there aren't that many copies in stock. I think there are probably about 7 or 8 altogether, which isn't a lot for the entire company. If you go on eBay, the cheapest one is around 15 quid. So if you weigh up how much you have to buy this for in CEX, and then when you pay the postage, you can just get it on eBay. A lot of people will just go straight to eBay rather than faffing around with CEX, even though you do get the warranty with CEX, but some people just don't use them in general. By the by, this is going to go for between 12 and 15. That is going to be then profit. But I will try it just in case I end up liking it. But because I play a lot of games now on my laptop and PC, and these type of games play, in my opinion, much better on the PC, I think I'd rather play it there. 2 of the games I definitely don't want to keep, but I can't sell because they're just worthless. FIFA 20, FIFA 17. Now, I do already have FIFA 20. This is the Eden Hazard cover. I have the Virgil van Dijk cover, and I am a Liverpool fan, so that's the one I want to keep. Now, these games I've played to death and back because I used to basically play this game for a living, if you didn't know. Mentioned it often enough. But for now, I'm going to have to keep them. If I ever get a PS4 or something, I'd be able to bundle these in with the PlayStation. It'll still help it sell a little bit better. But for right now, that's just going to go to one side. Very similar situation, but not quite, with the next game, that is PES 2019. I'm going to keep this, see how I get on, but again, if I ever get a PlayStation, I could just bundle that in if I need something to help it sell. So my next 3 games, I think a lot of people would be in the same boat as those football games. These are NHL games, so NHL 18, 19, and 20. However, I have missed an entire decade of NHL games. I used to love hockey back on the Mega Drive, even going through to the PS2 and even in the Xbox 360 days, I did play my fair share of NHL games. So I'm going to keep them, I'm going to play through them, and hopefully I can enjoy them. I have no idea if this is still worth anything on the PS4, however, this is the Tokyo 2020 games. Now, I have this on the Switch, I have had it on the PS4 before, and I've even had it on the Xbox One. The Xbox One version I had was sealed. I traded that into CEX for £10, I think I bought it for like £2. I traded this into CEX a little while ago, picked that up in the boot sale, and of course I bought my Switch version from CEX. My Switch collection has taken an absolute pummeling recently because I've started selling off an awful lot of the games. However, this is one of the games I will keep on the Switch because I actually quite like playing it every now and again. So I'm going to look to sell this. So this, together with Theme Park Simulator, will net me, I hope anyway, around £20. I'm hoping I can get between 5 and 7 for this, and I'm hoping I can get between 12 and 15 for this. So those together, hopefully around 20 quid, even after fees. And that is significant for a reason which we'll discuss in just a second. These next 3 games are up for debate a little bit. I don't really know what to do with them. Initially, I am going to keep this next one. It is WWE 2K15. I despised 22. I didn't like it. I say I despised, that's harsh. I didn't despise it, I just didn't enjoy it. I played through a large chunk of like the story mode or the equivalent of, and I can't say I got on with it. The era of wrestlers here, I know a little bit more than the most modern ones, so I am going to keep this, I am going to give it a go. And the next 2, again, I don't know what I'm going to do for now anyway, I'm going to keep because I'm going to try this one. This is WWE Battlegrounds. I've nearly bought this a few times. Of course, it is a very cartoony cartoony, artsy sort of wrestling game. I say artsy because the art style is completely different to the proper WWE games. It's more of a celebrity deathmatch style job, I think. But yeah, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see if I like it. I have been tempted to pick it up a fair few times, and I'm glad I didn't, because now this is free. And now a game I've looked at a few times, and this is the last one of the bundle, and I've not bought it. I've never really been tempted to buy it because it does look like a cheap knockoff of Republic Riders. It probably isn't, but this is Descenders. And I've called it Republic Riders, it's Riders Republic. I never get that game right. But yeah, Descenders is it's an interesting one. I think it's a procedure. Yeah, it says here, procedurally generated worlds, take on new courses, different jumps, ride with your friends, don't have any of those, unlock new bikes and kits to become the legendary Descender. So I'll give it a go and see if I enjoy it. I do like the premise of just downhill mountain biking, mount. What is it? Whatever. I'm going to keep that for now, see how I get on. But there we go. That should give me, theoretically, around £40 back. Just in those 3 games, and then we get to keep the rest. That's significant because now that gives me 20 quid-ish to be able to go and spend in a retro video game store. I do have a little boot sale pickup from quite a few weeks ago now. I think about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. It's a little Funko. It's Patrick Star. It has since sold. I bought it for £1 in this boot sale and sold it for £10 on Vinted. So after, well, there aren't any fees, but yeah. So I think we get 10 quid. We take away the pound that we spent. £9 gives us around 29-ish. Just say call it 25, just for argument's sake. If we do end up having to spend a little bit more in fees, or we take a little bit less on those games, we've got about 25 quid to spend. I went to Gloucester, like I mentioned. It's probably one of the only places I haven't been to recently. I've been everywhere looking in charity shops, going to random different car boot sales. And yeah, Gloucester was sort of the last on the list, really. It used to be really good for charity shops. It's kind of dropped off a lot. In fact, charity shops in general, my days. The video game store that's there, like I said, I've been there before, and I do really like it because it is almost like a spectacle. They have statues, they have glass cabinets, they have game cabinets, they have loads of arcade machines and things. It is a fun place to go and have a little look around, and there's an awful lot of retro in there, which is kind of what I'm more leaning towards these days. However, there are a few things about the store that frustrate me slightly, one of which is pricing. There aren't prices on nearly anything. So they've got all the Mega Drive games in glass cabinets. I understand why, because people will probably lean to more taking them than they will Xbox 360 games that are on the shelf behind them. But still, in my opinion, they should price them all up and have the prices on the spine, maybe even have little indicators as to whether they come with a manual or not. Anyway, I'm having a little look through and I'm seeing if there's actually anything there that I want. And yes, of course, there are hundreds of games here that I want. However, I'm on a bit of a budget, got about 20-25 quid to spend. So I'm having a look around, I'm looking up the prices on eBay and CEX and seeing how much you can get them elsewhere. And I go over to the counter and I say, hey, can I have a look at your Mega Drive games, please? So he opens up the cabinet, and I'm actually expecting there to be prices on the inside of them, so he knows. But no, there aren't. I was like, are there any prices on these? No, unfortunately, there aren't prices. So he knew them off the top of his head, or at least he was just telling me what they were off the top of his head. So I picked up a couple. How much is this? He's like, well, does it have the manual? So I open it up and we have a look to see if it's got the manual. He looks at the condition of the box and the sleeve, and if it does have the manual, he looked at the condition of the manual as well. I actually really like that, because obviously CEX have got boxed, unboxed, but their boxed versions can be trash. Falling apart cases, the artwork inside is ripped, the label on the game is ripped or defaced in some way, the manual falling apart without a cover on it or whatever, and they'll charge the same price as they would a very good condition one. So the fact that he was like, oh, well, that's got a rip there, I'll knock a couple of quid off, I'll do that for 8, for example. Really like that, but the frustrating thing was, I felt really awkward because I had to pick every game up and I had to ask, oh, how much is this one? And then we had to look around it all. I just, in the end, I picked up maybe 5 games, 6 at a push, and I felt really like, not, I don't know if guilty is the right word, but I just felt that I was annoying him. So in the, would I feel that way if I was the store owner? I wouldn't be thinking, oh, you're annoying me. I'd be like, no, pick them all up, buy them all. I know that's what I'd probably be thinking, but from my point of view, I just felt like I was getting on his tits. So I decided on 3 games. Now, they're not going to be that exciting, and a lot of you are going to be like, oh, for God's sake, really? You went to a retro video game store, you had 25 quid to spend on whatever you wanted there, and you picked up these games? You are a dick, and I perfectly understand. My video game choice and taste is not for everyone. In fact, it's probably not for anyone. But 2 of these games I've looked at, well, actually, no, 3 of these games I've wanted for a long time, to be fair. The first of which, and the cheapest and least exciting, and for a Liverpool fan you may question, but to be fair, and in my defence, it is a Welsh video game, not a Manchester United one. It is the Ryan Giggs game. Now, I'm not a massive fan of Ryan Giggs in general. He would cry off playing for Wales whenever possible. He played for Man United, and his personal life is beyond questionable. However, I remember playing this quite a lot as a kid, and I enjoyed it. It's strictly internationals, there's no club football in here, and there are some pretty big nations left out, which is a bit strange, but I did really enjoy it, and I have since popped it in. I needed to give this a very good clean, because there was a part of me that thought, oh, the pins are damaged here, because it looked so bad. It looked like a little bit of corrosion, but it did come off with some isopropyl, thankfully, and it does play really well. The case is dodgy. There is a receipt in there, which I'll show you in just a second. There's no manual. The case is falling apart. The insert is actually not that bad, and the label looks pretty good as well. But I think that was around £5. It wasn't expensive. It might have even been just a touch less. Happy to put that one on the shelf for sure. I'm very disappointed with the next one because it doesn't come with a manual, but I'm sure I can get one cheap enough, and the game itself isn't actually that expensive, as you can imagine, because I've only spent 20. I actually spent 23. But if I was to buy all of these games from CEX, boxed and probably in the same condition without manuals and things, it would have cost me over 30 quid. In fact, it would have cost me over 40 quid thinking about it. But the next game is one that I've been looking for a very, very long time. It is a Vander Holyfield boxing. This is one of my favourite Mega Drive games of all time. And I know you may be looking at that and thinking, really? A boxing game is one of your favourites? But there aren't that many boxing games on any platform, on every platform, if you weigh them all up. It's starting to come out with a couple more now, and the ones that are out are pretty decent. Of course, Fight Night Champion is still the king, but this is just an absolutely glorious game. But when I got home, it wasn't in there. I'm joking, it's in the Mega Drive. I've been playing this to death. No manual though, unfortunately. But, you know, besides that and a little bit of discolouring on the front and everything, I don't care. That I am a big fan of, and I'm really happy that I finally got it. Every single CEX that I've ever been to just hasn't had it. I could order it, sure, but where's the fun in that? And that's what I'm talking about and have been talking about for a long time. A lot of people are like, you do know you can order things on CEX. You can use your credit on the website. Yes, I absolutely can. But I don't really care about doing the roulette style of content. And the other part of me just likes this. Finding this in a store and being like, right, that is coming home with me. And the fact that I actually found it and I've got it, I've got, I don't know, just a sense of accomplishment. Could easily order it, of course I could, but that's just a little bit boring. I wouldn't really feel as happy about it. I know it's a bit weird to a lot of people, but for me, chuffed. The one thing I will say about this video game store, and just in general, those that don't price things properly, and then maybe go off the top of the head for prices, if the retro video game market, or just the video game market in general, fluctuates and the prices go up or down and you're not really got your finger on the pulse, you can make mistakes. Now, I'm not sure whether this was a mistake or whether it was just a good deal in general. This next game was £8. CEX will sell this boxed for about 20. So I was very, very happy to pick this up. And in the condition that it's in as well, I don't think it's actually that bad. So this is Batman Returns. Now, in my personal opinion, and this is coming from someone who doesn't watch many or any superhero movies, I don't like Marvel, DC is on the same sort of level for me. I just don't really care. But the older Batman films, I do enjoy. This is the very best Batman movie ever made, and I don't care what you say about The Dark Knight and all the rest of it. I love the cast in this. I love the film. It is brilliant. The game, I have played a fair bit as a kid, and I'm chuffed to get it back. But not only that, the artwork is in really good condition. I hate the fact that the barcode is on the spine, and that's the only Mega Drive game I have where the barcode is on the spine, so I don't really know why that's a thing. But still, the condition of the inside, not terrible, but not great. Does come with a manual. Yeah, the label, unfortunately, does have a chunk taken out of it there, which is not ideal. If I can find it cart only somewhere else down the line, I will look to swap it out, as I have done with a couple of other games that I've had. But yeah, that for £8, whereas CEX would try and get 20 for it, that is where value is. Where I was doing the trading collection before, you can still obviously build a collection, make a profit, and everything is sort of free and no money spent out of pocket. I proved that, obviously. But the most efficient way to do it, especially if you have the patience and the time, is to sell everything. Don't ever trade anything into CEX. Sell it all online. Get as much money as you possibly can for it, and then look for the cheapest games you can, rather than trading it into CEX, using your vouchers to buy things from CEX. That is definitely a realistic way of doing it, and it's the easiest way to do it. I wouldn't say it's the lazy way, that's not what I'm saying, because I did it for a long time, and I still will as and when the opportunity arises. But if you want the absolute most bang for your buck, selling things online or Facebook or whatever, and then using that cash to go and buy the games from video game stores or eBay or Vinted or wherever you can find the cheapest deals. That is the best way to do it. Now, I more than understand that this receipt could be from a bakery for £23 worth of sausage rolls, but that is the receipt I got given. Don't really know the point of a receipt when it's like that, because that could quite literally be for anything. How does he know what I've bought? I don't know, but I'm not here to question it. A sausage roll's £2. I haven't had a sausage roll for a long time. No idea. But anyway, we are adding a fair number of games to the collection for free, and we are going to make our money back in those 3 PlayStation 4 games as well. That is going to do it for this episode. I will still go to CEX. There are still a large number of games there that I want, that I think are very reasonably priced. I'm looking now more, though, toward the lower end of Xbox 360, PlayStation 2. Wii U is very reasonably priced in there as well. So if there's anything there that I want, then I will just go and pick it up with cash, or maybe if I do have the odd thing I can trade in because I can't really get much more for it online, then I will just go and trade things in. Just Dance, for example, 4 on the Wii is what I have to trade in. Trade in for a £5, maybe £6. I can't get an awful lot more for it online, or maybe not at all after fees and things, so I might as well trade it into CEX. That's when I'll utilize them. If I can get more for it by selling it online, even after fees, then I'm definitely going to do that going forward. But that's the type of content you can expect. If you want to see more of it, you can click here. And until the next time, goodbye.